Hey, all you RadRover enthusiasts out there. I got my RadRover fully loaded. I got all the stuff on there that I could possibly think of. I don't always take all this stuff. It depends on what kind of ride I'm going to do. And then I just load it up with the stuff I really need for the ride I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to take the time to go through some of this stuff and show you what I got. First thing I like to show you, and I highly recommend, are these tail lights. I think everything I describe in this video will be in the description below, but I believe these are called Apace. What's nice about these is when you get them, they give you various size O-rings because they're attached with O-rings, and it has a little gasket on it that's kind of rounded, so mounting on little rounded spots like this is perfect, or even a flat spot. You can still put it on a flat, because I used to have one right here. So I decided to go with dual. And what I like about these lights is that they have 6 different settings. The first setting is a low setting. It's the low setting. Then the next setting is the medium setting. Then the next setting is the high setting. Then the next setting is the flash setting. Then the next setting is the strobe setting. Those are super bright. Next setting is the SOS setting. And then back to your low setting. And what's really nice is that they're rechargeable. The only problem with these is that you have to take them off in order to recharge them, because their USB plug is on the bottom. Now, they'll also attach to a helmet. You see I got one attached to my helmet here. And along with these, you can tell this is a little dim now. It's gotten to get a little dim, so it's going to need to be recharged. And you know, if you compare this, because this is on bright, that's on low. It's a little dimmer, not much, but it's probably need to be recharged. I haven't charged it for a long time. It's been on there for over a month and a half, so, and I use it all the time. So I normally run these on flash, even though it's on a brighter, that way the batteries last a little bit longer. Either that, or I just put them on low or strobe. But I like the low setting, like that at night. It looks nice. They're a little bit pricey, but I'm going to show you what you get with the kit, and this is what's included. So all in all, I think these are probably the best tail lights that'll keep you safe. They're way worth the money. The only thing is, it does come with this little short plug, USB plug. That's the only real complaint I have about it. When you do plug them in, there's a red light and a green light to let you know when they're charged and when it's charging. But all in all, I highly recommend these lights. Well, the next thing I'd like to discuss is this is my new rechargeable horn. It's 140 decibels. It's made by, I think its name is Kacola. Anyway, it took me almost 3 weeks to get it because they had to come from China. It is rechargeable. I like the idea how the switch strap works, as it will just strap it around here and it's right by my thumb throttle. So all I have to do is push on it. And it's pretty loud, as you can compare that to. So I'm very pleased with it. They don't give you a, this is, you know, like this cable is not real long. It's fairly short and it's perfect for my application. The USB port is right there. It has a little red light and green light. Red light tells you it's charging. The green light tells you when it's charged. It has a 500 milliamp battery in it. I don't suspect that you'll have to charge this very often because I don't think you'll be using it that much, at least for me. But when I do, it's going to be handy. I don't want to be sneaking up on people with this little bell, because by the time they hear it, I'm right on top of them, and when they turn around, I scare the shit out of it. So I can hit this, you know, real short little chirps, 25, 50 feet back or so, maybe in 100 feet, and not scare the crap out of them. Worst thing you do is get right up on somebody and lay on this horn, probably scare the shit out of them. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just rude. I've done it once by accident and it was pretty funny, but it was rude. So that's this horn. I just got it, so we'll see how it goes. There's no reviews on this product, so I'll be doing a review on it, see how it holds up, see how it works. I haven't trimmed this yet. I'm going to trim that next because I wasn't sure if it was going to live here, but I like it. So it's going to live right here. I'll just trim this off now. And like I said, putting this switch on, it has this little band. And just twisting around, I just put it in between here. I moved this over as far as I could, but it's not enough room to put it in between here because it won't slide down anymore. So it didn't matter. I just wrapped it right around this spot here because it's wrapped up around right there, if you can see it. And it comes around through here and over on this side. So it's very versatile. Okay, the next thing is I want to talk about this headlamp. I bought the new 1200 lume headlamp. Now, I don't know the name of it. It just says headlamp on it. It'll be in the description below, the link. Anyway, this is the one that has the USB port for the light. And then I also bought the bigger battery. The I think it's 1200 milliamps, and I think the stock one was 800. So it's a bigger battery. When you charge it, you can just charge it on your regular charger. Plugs in right here, and you plug this into the light right here, the USB part of the battery here. Now, when I put this battery on, it fit way too loose on here. So I took an old bicycle grip and I cut it in half, or cut it, and then I cut it in half, and then wrapped it around here and put this strap on. It works a lot better that way. It's good and sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere. So that covers the light. Now I did look at some of the remarks, you know, on Amazon about this light, and there's a lot of people who felt that this wasn't 12,000 looms, and nobody's really measured it to say it isn't. And there are some views that said, hey, this light is perfectly bright. So my own personal is that the light is very bright. Now, I can't tell you it is 12,000 looms, but it was advertised as 12,000 looms. So, and it's running off of a 8.4 battery, 8.4 volt battery, not a 5.4. So that could make a big difference, because one of the people that were complaining about it being dim was saying a 5.4 battery, and I'm going, that's not even close. It's supposed to be 8.4 volts. So in any event, for me, it's a great light, and I would recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's a good bright light. Okay, this here is the charger that you need for this battery pack. It's the same one for the older model, you know, for the 600 or 800 milliamp battery. You can use the same charger. Doesn't matter. Now, I think what's happening out there, some of the people are trying to charge their battery up through this USB port. And with a, I don't know, what was a USB port, 5.4 volts or some crap like that. So I don't know if it's enough to actually fully charge this battery, because they do recommend this charger for this battery. Nor have I tried to plug this into this USB port into the USB on the battery or up in here to run it, because I don't know if it will work, and I don't want to chance anything messing up my electronics on this bike. So I'd rather just go with the battery system anyway. So beware of that. I think a lot of the bad reviews this light's getting is because people aren't hooking it up right, or they're trying to hook it up a different way than what is recommended. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the brightness of the light. That'll be the next thing we'll show you. But that's the low. There's like 4 different settings. There's low. There's medium. There's high. Now I imagine that's supposed to be 12,000 looms. And then we hold it, and then we get the strobe. So this light works great for day. This is what I use during the daytime, because I really feel safety is being visible. You want to get ran over, then don't enlighten your bike or anything. Don't run lights. But I like running the strobes in the front, and I run my ones in the back during the day, the strobes, because you can really actually see those during the day. So I feel pretty safe, but I just don't understand why this light's getting so many bad reviews. Now, I don't believe myself that that's 12,000 looms. It could have been a misprint. It might have meant 1,200 looms. That makes more sense. But 12,000 looms, I don't know. Of course, this battery needs to be charged, so I really can't say. I don't have anything to measure it with. But it works for me. I'm happy with it. It's pretty dark out here in Arizona, in southern Arizona, if I live in a small town. So it lightens the road enough for me, so I don't have any complaints. So I highly recommend this light, along with the battery and the charger. A little pricey, but after all is said and done, I think you'll be much happier with it. Well, the next thing we're going to talk about is mirrors. These mount inside the handlebar tube, and I had to modify these in order to make them work, so you should know that. I'm going to show you on my PC exactly what part I had to modify in order to make these work. Now, I was expecting a little bit bigger tube size on the handlebar, because normally they're about 7/8 to 7/8 of an inch or so. And this is like a 1/2 inch. It's real small. So the part that goes in where this threads into the nut, there's a little cone piece, and it's too big. It won't fit, and the whole assembly won't fit inside that tube. So you have to take the time to file down this little bushing that goes in there. But you can make them work. So that being said, what's nice about these is you can turn them any way you want. They're left and rights, or you can loosen this and put them on the inside if you want. I don't know why you want to do that, but what I like about them is I got a good field of vision behind me, and plus they don't like shake when you're riding. They're pretty damn sturdy, so you can always tell who's behind you and how many cars and that kind of thing. So they work well. I would recommend. I'm not going to recommend these mirrors because they're a real pain in the butt to put in, but if you got the time and effort and you're mechanically inclined, go ahead and get them. But other than that, I would recommend some other mirror. Okay, if you look at this mirror, this is how the thing goes together. It's based on a wedge. It wedges inside the handlebar. So item number 4, that little guy right there, I had to put it in a vise and file it, keep filing it. I use like a bastard file so I can file through it quickly. And I just filed it until I was able to put the assembly together and slip it inside the tube so I could tighten it up. That's about the size of it. Okay, I'll talk about the handlebar extension tube. I notice a lot of the guys only get the little short one. It goes from there to there. I don't get it. Why not get the bigger one? Because you can always move this down to make more room for other things to put on your bike. In fact, this is the first thing I put on my bike when I got it, because as soon as I got it, I realized I'm not going to be able to put too much stuff on my bike. There's no room on the handlebars. So this was a good investment. So I recommend that. In fact, I highly recommend that you get the longer piece rather than the shorter one, unless you're very concerned about weight. Now, I've talked about this twist throttle on many videos, and the primary problem with getting cramps with this is because if I took off this rubber piece, you would have to reach down in there. The circumference is very small, so you have to pinch on it really hard with your hand so you can turn it. So the logical way of fixing that is increase the circumference of the twist throttle. And I happen to have this old Bluetooth speaker that doesn't work anymore. It's just kind of tinny and cheap. It had this little rubber piece on it, and it fits on here just perfectly. It doesn't slip or anything. I can hold my watts pretty good without the watts jumping around too much. I like it better that way. I do have the JA strap-on thumb throttle. I had it on there. I didn't particularly like it because I couldn't hold the wattage, at a constant level, because every time I hit a bump my thumb would move. So this seems to work better for me. I don't get cramps in my hands anymore. So if you're interested in knowing the size of a rubber piece you need, is 1.25 inch inner diameter. It needs to be 1.25 inch, and the thickness is about 1/4 inch thick. So if you see it, you can see it's just sticking over the actual hand grip here. It's bigger than the hand grip, just by about 1/16 of an inch, and that really makes it very comfortable. And with gloves on, it's really nice. So I highly recommend, if you're having problems, see about if you can find something laying around that will fit on there, or maybe you can find some rubber tubing online. Or what I did, I used these cinch straps in the beginning, and I just wrapped a cinch strap around that to get the circumference I was looking for comfort, and that worked for me for a long time. But I happened to run across this, And I cut, like I see, I got another one here, another spare one here, so I'll probably be giving this away along with that strap-on thumb throttle, because I don't use that, and I'm sure somebody would like to have this. I kind of like it because it has that diamond shape to it, and it makes it easier to turn too. So it has a good grip on it. I like it. Okay, the Jackery BoomBox. Unfortunately, they don't make these anymore, but I'm going to put in a link in the description below. If I was to get another one, the one I get is the one that would be in the description below. First of all, I'd like to say, you people out there that like to ride around with your headphones on, or your earbuds in, your both ears, you're crazy. This is much safer. And you get good quality sound. I'm going to turn it on, pair it up, and turn on my phone here. Go to my apps, settings. Yeah, paired up. See, it's already there, already paired up. And the thing you should be aware of, if you pair this up to a different phone or a different device in your house and you forget to take it off, and then you bring your phone in and you're trying to turn on your Bluetooth and it won't come on, it's because it's pairing up to the other device that's in the house or the other device that you have and it's on. So be aware of that. I'll go back. We'll go to music, and let's see. Here we go. This is a good song. And I can put it on pause or whatever, but that's pretty loud. It works good. I like it. The only thing is, if you do a lot of hard riding, like jumping off curbs or doing off-road riding real hard and stuff, don't use this. Use something else. Because this bracket here is one of those camera mounts, and it may not last very long. Probably will break, because I heard of some guys have put them on their mountain bikes and they say, yeah, it's the first jump I went off, it broke. Well, yeah, it's not made for that. It's made for cruising, you know. So I do like it. Like I said in the description down below, I put one in that I think is worth the money. It's similar to this. In fact, it's better than this, to be honest. I think it's 20 watts. I think it has voice command and a bunch of other things. I can take my phone calls on this by pushing this phone button right here. So what will happen is when I get a phone call, the music will stop, and my phone will start ringing through the Bluetooth, and I just push the phone button right there, and I can take the call. The mic is up in here somewhere, so you don't have to lean down and talk into it. You can stand back and talk like you normally do, and the person on the other end can pick up what you're saying. And I don't have a problem hearing what they're saying. Now, my wife bought this for me for Christmas a few years ago, mainly because every time she tried to get in touch with me, my phone was tucked away somewhere and I didn't hear it because I don't hear well. So she bought me this. So now when she calls me, I don't have a problem. I can take the phone call and I can hear her perfectly clear. So I suggest, if you like your music, you like to take your music with you, don't use those earpods. They're dangerous. You can't hear what's going on around you. It's just not a good idea. This is a much safer and better way of doing it. Now, like I said, when I go riding, I don't always use this. I only use this on special occasions when we're going to do some cruise riding and stuff like that. Or I need to use the maps, I'll use this. But that's it. Now, let's talk about the top tube phone holder bag. What's nice about this bag in comparison to the old phone bag I had is that putting the phone inside here is so much easier. Plus the fact that when you get somewhere, it's like you're going to go into the store real quick, you don't want to leave your phone on there. The old one you had to unzip it and pull it out and take it all out, and a real hassle. This one, you just rip it off and take it with you because it's on Velcro. Now, let me show how easy it is to load this phone. I couldn't believe it. Just pull this open. That's it. So you just put it in, close it, zip it up, and stick it on there. That's it. Now, this has that anti-glare guard on it. It don't work. Believe me, it doesn't work. In fact, I think I got my, oh, that's right. It doesn't really work that well. Now, if the sun is low down over that, in that direction, no problem. But high noon and anything beyond 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're not going to be able to see this. Not if it's a sunny day. So the anti-glare doesn't really work, just to let you know. It does interface well with the plastic, even with gloves on, so that's nice. It has, let's get this out of the way so you can see. It has two large pockets. These are larger than the other one I had. Nice, large, big, deep pockets to put stuff in. And what I like about it the most is it mounts over the bar here, and it mounts underneath here in two places. Well, you want to make sure you strap it to the bottom tube, not this top one. That way it's good and sturdy. It's not going to flop around on you. So that's the Toptik bag. I'm very happy with it. It works well for me. Just trying to get that on there. There you go. Trying to center this thing can be a pain. There you go. So that's the top two bag, and it's kind of got the colors going for it that kind of goes with my bike a little bit. It's red, although I try to find orange, but forget it. You ain't gonna find it in orange. Okay, well, this, I have two different front bags for different purposes. This one I'll take with me if I have some fairly big items to carry. I'll take this one. It has side pockets in it. I like this. It's pretty nice. It also has a little strap, which is down here. You can stick the strap in one of these little pockets, so you use it as a shoulder bag. Now, what's nice about this particular one is because of the length of the straps that go around the handlebar, and then comes back through here as a cinch strap. Like so. And you have for each side. And then this is the one, and it's real long. I added an extra cinch strap on it because
the distance I had to go around here on the gooseneck here. So, but it works real well. I'm really pleased with this particular bag. So that's one of the bags I use. This is the older bag. This is a newer bag I got. Now, this one is for a whole different purpose. First of all, it doesn't have any, it only has 2 quick releases on the top, which is nice. So you can quick release it, drop the bag out, just like that. The other nice thing about this bag, and I carry my selfie stick, and I carry my GoPro 5 camera on the side pouch. So I always have my camera available if I want to take some pictures or some video. But once you get this off, now there's some pros and cons about this particular bag, and I'm going to show them to you. These are the 2 straps that wrap around the handlebar to just hold the bag in place. So once it's in place and you want to get to this pocket, you can't. I mean, you could, but it's really difficult because you have to get up underneath there and pull it open. So it's not one of those bags that you can get access to on the fly. It does have these 2 little side pocket bags. You can get to those on the fly. So when you take it off, what's unique about this bag, I'll try to show you. In the front of the bag, it has these 2 snaps. Now, you can set this up for either a shoulder bag or a waist bag or a shoulder bag this way. I set mine up for a waist, you know, like a belly bag. So you just pull these snaps out, pull this out, and you got yourself a belly bag, or you can put it over your shoulder. Now what's unique about this, let's say I go somewheres and I got my Bluetooth with me, which reminds me I should turn it off. I have my Bluetooth with me, so what I do is I take it off, I stick it in this pouch. Okay. Then I can take my horn off, I can take my light off, I can take my battery off, I can take my 2 tail lights off and stick them all in this bag and take it with me. The phone, you just take it with you like that, or you unstrap it and strap it to this bag through this loop right here. And you just take it with you. So if I stop somewhere, like at a restaurant or something, and I want to get a little bite to eat, and I don't want to leave this stuff on the bike because I'm afraid it might get taken or stolen, this is one way to take care of that problem. Now you can also use it to take a few things with you, you know, when you go on a bike ride. But like I said, it's hard to get access to it on the fly while it's on the bike. But I like the bag. It suits my needs, what I'm looking for. Now, if I take this bag, it'd be for a whole different purpose. So I have 2 different bags for 2 different purposes. And I'll probably end up with more bags as time goes on.
Bikeroo. Let me widen this out. Talk about this seat. I've talked about this seat on some other videos as well. I'm a short person in stature, and unfortunately for me, when I bought this bike, the first time I took it out, I went for like 5 miles and my butt started getting really sore. After 10 miles, my butt was so sore I had to stand up on the pedals to kind of. It's kind of like trying to get it comfortable in a seat that's not comfortable. That's all I can say. So I looked around, and there are things that you can do to relieve yourself. Now, you know, relieve the pain of your buttocks. Now, the original seat, I was wanting to keep that because I like the handle on the back, but unfortunately, it's so stiff I can't use it. But there is a seat post you can buy that has a shock in it, so you could put that seat on the shock and use it. But that wouldn't work for me because I'm so short that I have to have this frame of the bike seat all the way down to the frame. So there's no way I could put a shock type seat post in there. So my only option was to get a spring seat with a good cushion and a good wide buttock space on it. And I've ridden on this thing for 30 miles and not have too much discomfort whatsoever. So if you're having issues with comfort, look at this seat. I highly recommend it. Okay, the next thing I'll talk about is the rear rack from RadRover. I ordered it, well, my wife ordered it for me for Christmas, and I'm not sure she got the right one or not, because when I put this together, the rack was pushing against this brake so bad it was actually, you know, binding it up where I couldn't adjust the adjustment here. Oh, I know I got the one up there, but when I adjust, I like to be able to adjust both ends so I can kind of know when I need to tighten up the cable, you know, here rather than here. So I had to put a spacer in here to get this away from this adjuster. So now it's free. My brake was sticking a little bit on when I released the brake was sticking a little bit, but now that I put this spacer in, I'm not having that problem anymore, and I also can adjust it. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind, if you have this same problem, if you shim this side up, you need to shim the other side up the same. Otherwise, you might shift this off center to your tire. So keep that in mind. So if you're interested in knowing, it's about a 1/2 inch to 5/8 of an inch to a 1/2 inch wide. And when I made up the bushings, I bent each side out a little bit to give me the clearance for assembly. It makes it a little bit easier. I plan on taking this back off again, because when I bent this out, these ears were coming out and I couldn't get the bolts going straight, especially this one over here. But I got it to, it's threaded in. It's just the ears, just this part right here, I need to put this in a vise and just bend them down so that they're more lined up. But I'm not going to worry about it for right now, but it's just a tip to let you know. I also did some custom painting on it, because the bike frame eventually is going to be, this red's going to go away. It's going to be orange and gold pinstriping on it. So you get the orange stripe here and the gold stripe here. I painted this on both sides using masking tape. If you do decide to do something like this, I found out, because this stuff, the way this finish is, if you don't put primer on it, as soon as you take some 2000 sandpaper to take the edges off of it, it starts coming off. So primer it, then paint it. Okay, the next thing I did with my bike is I went ahead and got me these rim reflectors. They come in different colors. When you look at the website, they'll have a lot of different colors to choose from, and they also have custom colors. You can always call or get in touch with the company, and they'll make any special color you need. Pink, purple, I mean, you name it, they probably could make them. But I got orange. Even though they look more amber, they are orange. They reflect the light from cars, so you're highly visible during the night. And also included with the kit, now it takes 6 of these strips to go all the way around. They're easy to apply. And you also get, in the kit, you get a bunch of these little dots and some stars. I put 2 dots on the back side here, so when the headlights hit it, it will reflect. And then I had some extra dots, and I went ahead and put them on the end of my extension tube on each side. So that way when they hit it, you'll see that little reflection up there, and also the tire. Now what's nice about these is during the day, you'll get this shimmer off of it. And it's going to look like you had your rims anodized. They look like you had them anodized. They look custom. And they look pretty cool. So they're stylish, but yet they'll keep you safe. So they're a little pricey. They're like $33 for the kit. But I think in the long run it's worth it. The only thing you have to worry about is if you have to break the bead on your tire, make sure you use the plastic tire removers. Don't use any metal like screwdriver or anything like that. They recommend that you use the plastic. Other than that, you might tear them up and you have to get new ones. Now, I haven't tried to remove them yet, but I'm sure they're fairly easy to remove. And just use some Goo Gone or Goo Off and take off the residue on it. Now when you order these, don't do what I did, because I ordered for a 26-inch because they ask you rim size. That's not really the rim size. So you need to measure it. Like you see, I got it down at the bottom of the rim, up to the top. It's about 22 to 22 and a half. So I ordered 23s. Because when I placed the order, the owner called me up and wanted to know, because I guess he's ran into this problem before. People order 26 when they're not really 26, or 22 to 23. So they want to make sure I wanted 26, and he wanted to know what it was for. And then when I told him, he says, yeah, well, you need 22 to 23s. So he sent me 23s. So they fit perfectly. They overlap about a 1/4 inch, and that's what they prefer. So worked out fine. So if you're not sure, measure it, and then you'll know for sure what size you need. The Chaoyang sandstorm tires. I bought these tires, probably in the first 45 miles of having this bike, because the knobbies felt like, or sounded like, an 18-wheeler going down the street. I like a bike that's quiet, smooth, and comfortable. So I traded in my knobbies. Well, I didn't trade them in, I took them off, and I had these tires put on. And I did it at a time when the bike, you know, it's recommended when you first get your bike, you take it in and have a tune-up. And what they do basically, they check, make sure your spokes are tight, all your brakes are tuned up right, your derailleur's right. They even checked, make sure that the brakes were disengaging the motor and all that kind of stuff. They did the whole thing. And they also put on my tires. I also had the Tuffy liners put in it, and also had them put slime in the tubes. Now I live in southern Arizona, and every tree and every bush has thorns in them. So when we get the winds kicking up here, we get these little clumps that are sitting along the curbway on the streets. And it's best to avoid those because they got thorns in them. And I'm talking thorns that are like 2 inches long. Some of them are 3. So I can honestly say I haven't had one flat tire since I put these tires on with the liners and slime. And these tires, looking at the tread on them, let's get around here. These tires, I got 500 miles on them already, and they don't look like they've worn down hardly any at all. The thing about street tires versus knobbies for pavement, street tires roll better and further than a knobby will on the pavement. Now, I do a lot of commuter riding, pavement riding. Not to say that we don't have dirt roads out here. We have a lot of dirt roads, but they're not like trail roads. So this tire is perfectly great for sand or dirt. It's just a matter of what kind of riding you want to do. If you want to do hard riding, then you probably want to leave your knobbies on. But for me, being a commuter, this is what fits me and this is what I like. Like I said, it rides very smooth, and none of my fenders rattle at all. They're all nice and tight, and I'll talk about those fenders in a little bit. But yeah, these tires are the bomb. Unfortunately, these tires are no longer available. Last time I looked on Amazon, they don't know when they're going to be available. So I'm sure there's other street tires out there just as good, if not better than these. So I recommend, if you don't like that loud tire noise, you know, it's like a 18-wheeler going down the street and you ride a lot on the pavement and you're more of a commuter rider than a trail rider, I suggest street tires. Okay, we'll talk about the Axiom Aftermarket stealth fenders I got. I was looking at the RadRover fenders. At the time, I didn't have that much money. I think they were $66 for those fenders. And the problem with the rear fender is, again, is a seat post mount, and I have a seat post problem. I can't mount anything to a seat post because I'm so damn short. So I got shortchanged. So I had to figure out a way I could find a fender that would work for me, being a short person. So I ran across these aftermarket fenders. They're for a mountain bike, fat tire mountain bike. And I figured out a way to mount this front one on, or this rear one on. Let me get this out of the way so we can see. So I had to cut the mount off right down in here. Where are we? Right down in here, this mount right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I had to cut off the mount piece for the seat post, and then I just put a screw down through here, and then with a spacer here to make it even, and with a tech screw. So it's basically mounted to the rack. So that's how I worked it out for me, and it worked out well for me. Now the front fender is not a front. It's not a front fender. It's a front mudguard. It's supposed to mount down here on your down tube, right where the water bottle goes. I didn't want it that way. I wanted to mount it as a fork fender that travels with the fork. So basically, what it ran in, or what I'm trying to say is, I bought these fenders for free, because I had points with Amazon, so I just went ahead and bought the fenders. So the fenders didn't cost me anything. However, I did have to spend some money on hardware to make this a fender rather than a mudguard. So I have another video. It's a 3-part series about these fenders and what I went through and how I did the front fender. I did change a few things on it from that video, but basically speaking, it's the same. Now, what's nice about this is the strap right here is what straps onto your frame here, your down tube frame for a mud guard. So I left that because these snaps help hold the shape of the fender. So this is going to be my tool kit holder. Right now I just got my gloves in there. I still got to get my tool kit together. It's going to be a tool kit holder, or it's going to be a CO2 holder. I also painted the fenders a two-tone color. I made up all this hardware right here. This piece here, and then there's another piece that goes on the back, and it goes all the way down here. And that's all made out of 1/4 inch, 1 inch wide aluminum strip. I also put aluminum strip on the bottom part, so you can see this fender doesn't rattle, doesn't shake, nothing. Same thing with the back fender, so I don't have any fenders flopping around. So I like that. So it turned out good for me. I would only recommend these fenders if you're a short person like me. If you're very short and you're having a hard time finding a fender that will work because of the seat post problem, then this is probably the solution for you. Although it was a little bit of hard work to make that front fender work. It took a little bit of time to figure it out, but like I said, there's a 3-part series on the aftermarket fenders for the RadRover. Well, like they say, it's better to have it and need it and not have it. And that would be a bicycle pump. Right here. Now this bicycle pump comes with a mount that mounts right underneath your water bottle, and pump snaps on right next to it. So that's kind of convenient. It also will do a Presta valve or a Schrader valve without having to do anything. The only thing is this pump is going to probably shoot in small volume of air. So if you get a flat tire and you fix it and you need to pump it up with this thing, it's going to take a while. That's the only bad thing about this. But it does come with a patch kit as well. I got the patch kit up here. So it comes with a patch kit. It has a Schrader or a Presta valve type connection for it, so that's not a problem. I will be looking at some CO2 bottles. I haven't had a chance to look online for some CO2s because I'd like to carry the CO2s, but it's a good idea just to have this pump just in case. So I recommend a pump. Any kind of a bicycle pump. Like I said, I went with something that's small and kind of convenient, easy to put on the bike. Conclusions. I don't think I've ever had such a wonderful bike ever. This is probably the most wonderful bike I've ever owned. And I collect a lot of bikes. I have a lot of bikes in the other garage. I got my beach cruiser. I got my Quadra Sprint, which is a 4-wheel bike. And I have another beach cruiser. So I have 2 beach cruisers and a quad, plus that 3-wheeler. It's electric. It needs work. I'll be working on that someday. But right now my eyes are focused on this. So the only real things that are left to do on this bike is the frame. I'll be redoing the frame, and once I get the frame all done the way I want it, then I'll do another video and show you how that turned out. By then I should have this all figured out. Either the CO2 bottle or the toolkit or whatever. So that would be my next and last project on this bike, I hope. I hope it'll be finished up and I can enjoy riding it more. There is one other thing I want to do besides the frame. I want to make me a real nice charging station for my bike, so I can just roll my bike in and plug it all in and walk away. Some guys have put them on timers and stuff like that. I'm thinking a little something different. I'm thinking something like solar, batteries, inverter, free energy.